Hey everyone, it's Phoebe. I'm so sorry that I haven't kept up with my Patrick Frazee videos. So many other creators were covering the case and I've just been really busy at work. So rather than stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning, I decided that, to do my videos, I decided that I would let the other creators update everybody. However, yesterday's testimony was quite shocking, so I'm just going to go through an article from NBCnews.com to update you all. So the article is entitled "Murder Suspect Patrick Frazee Asked for Help in Bid to Kill Witnesses." And this was testimony by another inmate who was housed with Patrick Frazee. Frazee, I don't know how to pronounce it. So yeah, they were housed together in September and October of last year, I believe. Let me just double check. Oh, it doesn't say. Just says, the inmate, who did not want his name used because he fears retaliation, and Frazee were housed next to each other for several weeks in September and October. I guess that was this year, because otherwise I think they would have said 2018. The twice convicted felon said Frazee made the request in notes. Notes between the two list more than 10 other people who needed to disappear or be unseen, a law enforcement official testified Friday. The inmate testified that the conversation about killing Lee began after he approached Frazee for help getting items from his commissary account because he was in a segregated area and could not place an order. The inmate characterised the notes as instructions or suggestions on how to carry out the hits on the witnesses. Greg Slater, an agent with the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, testified that Frazee targeted more than 10 others in the notes, including Lee's former husband, Lee's family members, Slater himself, and Joe Moore, a friend who testified last week that Frazee talked about killing Bereth, and Frazee told him, "No body, no crime." They all need to disappear or be unseen until at least November the 22nd, until after the trial, Slater testified on the contents of one note. He read from another note allegedly written by Frazee that said, "I'd really like to see Crystal with a bullet in her head." Asked about the reference to Slater in one of the notes, Slater said he interpreted it to mean Frazee wanted him and the others gone. Apparently, when the inmate was questioned by Frazee's attorney Adam Steigerwald, the inmate did acknowledge that he had learned about the case from media reports. Patrick's attorney Steigerwald asked the inmate, "You thought you would have some fun with Patrick, and you put the hook out there to see if he bites, and he does." And the inmate replies, "Yes." He said, this is the inmate, he initially came forward in the hopes of getting assistance with his case because he faced 30 years in prison on a burglary charge, but the case was dropped to a misdemeanor 3 weeks ago. He said he was torn about what to do with the information that he had about Frazee. He said, "I decided to come forward. It seemed like the right thing to do." In another note allegedly written by Frazee to the inmate, Slater testified on Friday that it read, "I'm not the monster they say I am. I don't know what happened or where she went. Honestly, my wheels are spinning out of control the closer it gets to trial." So then Jonathan Priest, an expert in bloodstain pattern analysis and crime scene reconstruction, testified that Lee's description of the blood pattern she cleaned up in Bereth's condo, coupled with the blood investigators found at that location, is consistent with someone using significant force. When asked by Teller County District Attorney Dan May if the evidence was consistent with Lee's testimony that Frazee used a baseball bat to kill Bereth, Priest replied, "Absolutely. In my experience, people are not easy to kill. They are very resilient," Priest said. Beatings are nasty in that they don't really have the effect they may have on television. And he estimated that it took at least 10 to 15 strikes to kill Kelsey. Basically, he then went on to say that there wasn't a lot of blood seen because of all the cleaning that was done afterwards. And he continued, from my experience, looking at areas of similar cleaning, you can make it look clean, but blood has a habit of getting into areas that you can't see. We have that here. Of course, Crystal Lee had told the court that Frazee wanted it to appear as if Kelsey had left, so he asked her to take Kelsey's phone to Idaho, where she burned it. And she was then later charged with tampering with evidence and pleaded guilty in February, agreeing to testify against Patrick Frazee in her plea deal. Frazee's lawyers, however, stressed that Lee only spoke about what happened after reaching a deal, and they questioned her credibility because she initially told authorities that she did not know who Kelsey was, according to the Associated Press, and that is true, I believe, yeah. So anyway, that's it. So the prosecution and defence have both rested, and closing arguments are scheduled for Monday, when of course the case will then go to the jury for deliberation. So thank you very much for being with me today. I really appreciate your support, and again, I'm sorry I didn't keep up with my coverage. I did intend to, but I was so busy at work, and then when I realised that many other creators, Scott Rush, Mummy Ramblings, True Crime Rocket Science, they all covered the case far better than I could, so I decided to leave it. But anyway, I appreciate you all being with me today. Have a great Saturday, and I shall speak to you very soon. Bye bye.